Electronic music has allowed us to explore everything,
Yeah.
has allowed us to travel all over the world,
Right.
has allowed us to touch all these different aspects of life. And without it, we would not have done this. And it's also brought us into other artistic realms so that, you know, we become multimedia artists. And I thank the electronic world
Right.
for doing all this for us.
Yeah. Typical day on the road. Usually I will get up first because Priscilla and I don't have the same sleep habits. So I'll get in the hall around 7 o'clock, and I'll start setting up. Say if it's for an installation, I'll start setting up. It takes about 3 hours. I'll usually hopefully the equipment will have been there ahead of time and the tables will have been set up and everything. But usually the people are pretty cooperative, and anyway, we're all set up, and then people start coming in usually around 10. And they usually, if it's a university type of gig, they'll come in, for the first couple of students will sort of peer their head in and kind of scratch their heads, and we have to encourage them to come in. And once they get a taste of it, they run out and excitedly go get their friends, and pretty soon the place is mobbed. And that's why we like to stay for more than 1 or 2 days. The word gets around. And so Priscilla will come in around 9 o'clock and help with the setup, and then we'll take turns. We'll stay there all day. This will be like in a large classroom or an auditorium stage or something like that. And we'll just stay there all day and hang out, and we'll take turns. Priscilla will run it for a while, then I'll run it for a while, and maybe go for a walk and so forth. Then we'll break for dinner and go to a place nearby. And on a concert day, we will usually set up all day for the concert. More stressful because we have a very careful regimen about setting levels. Every piece has to be set level, and sometimes different sections of the pieces in different. One piece that I know that I'm doing with music boxes and amplified music boxes and so forth has 5 different level settings, 5 different sources of sound that you have to set and balance. And setting levels will often take us 2 hours just to set the levels, the sound levels of the hall. In this way, I think we're probably more particular than a lot of people, because to us, you know, if the levels aren't right, then nothing is right. And so this also often creates a lot of tension because there just aren't enough hours in the day. And then also you have to deal with lighting crews who are usually yelling to each other while you're trying to set levels. And then, of course, when you actually start rehearsing, because you do have to rehearse each piece, no matter how many times you do it, because each hall is different, so you have to go through each piece. And oftentimes you're borrowing their equipment, so you have to put up with the irrationalities of the equipment, the individual equipment, such as video projectors. Each one is different. And so, you know, the unexpected always happens, and we always wind up about a half hour before the concert wondering if we're ever going to, if this thing is ever going to work, you know. And the trick is to go through the concert without any mishaps, and usually we manage to do it pretty much perfectly about half the time. And usually about once or twice a season we'll have a disastrous breakdown or something, which I'll be scratching my head on stage, and Priscilla will be telling jokes fortunately, she has a very good repertoire of jokes. The driving is something interesting. We will often drive 300, 400, 500 miles a day. It's funny, you know. People say, well, you know, you're in Chicago on this day. We've got something in DeKalb, Illinois. I know it's a long drive. And I said, a long drive? Well, we're used to driving 2 or 3 states in one day, not, you know. So to us, we may be in Montana one day and Utah the next. I mean, you know, it's because people's schedules are very peculiar. Everybody has their own calendar date that works best for them, and we found through experience that you have to try to accommodate their calendar needs as much as possible. Because if you don't, it's not the best experience for them, and it's really not the best experience for you. So we do a lot of driving. And so as a result, we spend a lot of time. I think probably one of my greatest skills in touring has been finding a good motel. I think, you know, I've really developed this over, because typically we'll spend 30 to 40 nights in motels in any given season. And so you very quickly become skilled in things like this, or how to get a good meal cheaply and quickly, and you know, things like that. So if I ever write a book, I think my first book will be on how to find a good motel, because I think that's probably my greatest skill at this point that I've developed over the years.